Hi, welcome back to Maple Media. My name is Kieran, and I'm here with the leader of the Green Party, Luca.
Hi guys.
So, thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start things off.
All right.
According to our polls, when asked about the issues influencing their vote, Canadians ranked the economy as their top concern, while climate change was notably absent from the leading priorities. Additionally, 50% of voters disapprove of the carbon tax, and the Green Party is advocating for strengthening the carbon tax. How do you accommodate the concerns of Canadians who strongly oppose one of your core policies?
Well, we all know the climate crisis is here, so it is necessary that we address and utilize our plans and policies to battle climate action and the crisis. What we want to do, we want to tax the big polluters, not just the Canadians who play their part in helping the climate. We're going to make it more transparent and add rebates to Canadians so they don't have to suffer during the tough times in the economy.
All right. The Green Party proposes streamlining the recognition of foreign credentials. How will you work with regulatory bodies to ensure that skilled immigrants can enter the workforce more efficiently?
So, as you can tell, Canada, with a population of only 41 million people, right now we're lacking jobs, extremely. So we want to bring a lot more immigrants who are skilled in their professions to fill in those gaps. Because not all Canadians are filling those gaps because they're not qualified. So we fill in those gaps with the foreign workers. We can work with the provinces, reduce the barriers, and make sure those foreign workers get into employment right away, because there's a lot of underemployment and unemployment with these foreign workers, and whoever comes in our country, they should have the rights of all Canadians, not just foreign workers.
Makes sense. Germany is a staple of the green economy, right? They've invested heavily into green energy, green resources, a lot of the things that you're pushing for. But they've faced some setbacks, such as sometimes surges in energy prices. And in Canada, specifically in Alberta, that's the oil and gas sector. A lot of people out west make their living off of oil and gas. So how do you plan to avoid the pitfalls that Germany has found and guarantee to those workers that they won't be left behind in your new green economy?
Sure. Well, part of the Green Party's platform, we advocate for a just transition for everyone, whether it's, for example, the fossil fuel workers. So what we want to do for those fossil fuel workers, make sure they get a just transition into greener jobs. For example, we want to get rid of fossil fuels, transition away from that into wind, solar, geothermal. We're going to provide training for them, retraining, because right now what the fossil fuel workers have already, they have those expertise to work in greener job sectors already. So that's a plus for them that they have already. We're going to make sure we fund them so they're not left behind in what the economy is going through right now. Also, for those fossil fuel workers, we can understand that this change can't happen overnight. It's clear. It takes a lot of time, but it can happen. We're going to make sure they have a guaranteed income support from the Green Party. We're going to support them all the way through until they have reached that green job that we are implementing. So from there, no workers left behind, and we're going to make sure we're there for them so they don't lose their jobs.
All right. Let's talk about environmental health risks, such as air, water pollution, right?
Absolutely.
These impact vulnerable populations in Canada. How does the Green Party plan to integrate policies into healthcare reform to protect these groups of people?
Well, the vulnerable populations are affected daily, especially with the government in place, affected daily. Especially the Indigenous communities who are affected unfairly with their leaky pipelines, all this stuff. The Greens want to work with those affected communities to ensure everything is put in place well enough. We want to have stricter environmental policies like carbon reduction, make sure we reach our targets, and
The previous government was accused of having issues with freedom of speech and government overreach. And your party has promoted strict anti-discrimination policies. How do you plan to balance the enforcement of these policies and not fall into the same controversies that the previous government fell into?
Well, the Green Party, we advocate and we are very open to open dialogue with free speech. However, anti-discrimination is far different from open dialogue and free speech. So what we want to do is ensure that we protect individuals from harm without compromising their freedoms. By promoting digital literacy and transparent guidelines, we aim to reduce hate speech and misinformation while fostering a culture of respectful dialogue.
All right. Some of the big concerns regarding the environment right now is permafrost thaw and Arctic ice melt. Now, these are issues that many people say that need to be addressed, such as your party, and to shift away quickly and urgently from fossil fuels. But there are many communities in the territories that your policies don't seem to mention or touch on, specifically about indigenous communities that rely on diesel.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about these concerns?
So the Green Party recognizes the challenges that are facing the territories and the indigenous communities that rely on diesel. We aim to work collaboratively with those affected communities who rely on diesel, and with these communities develop culturally appropriate renewable energy solutions like wind, solar, geothermal, and microgrids. Our approach respects self-governments, ensures communities lead to transition, balancing the urgent need to address the climate change. We also support increased federal funding for research and innovation to develop low carbon technologies tailored to Arctic and subarctic regions as well. So that's our plan to work with the territories.
With the modern landscape of politics becoming much more divisive, having a larger gap between parties and ideology, people don't really seem to agree on much anymore. And a lot of people have gone into the practice of demonizing other parties. Can you say one good thing about each of your political opponents?
So I'll start with the Liberal. She's very very well spoken. I can give her that. She knows how to get her points across and all that stuff. So that's a plus for her. With the candidate of the NDP party, he is very he gets his point across very well. Gets to the point. Doesn't really add in filler, and yeah, he's a pretty well-rounded guy.
Oh.
And for the Conservative leader, Jacqueline, I think she's very approachable, and I can respect that she is focusing on policy more than the leader-centric elections, like the Liberals or the NDP, who have been focusing on. So I can respect that from her.
And thank you so much for joining me, Luca, leader of the Green Party. Do you have anything that you want to say to the voters?
Change, vote for it.
This has been Maple Media. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out all of our other content on YouTube, X, and Instagram, along with our website.